Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Room Junkie 3 o'clock show. I am beyond excited to have this wonderful lady here with me, Helen Walsh. Helen is a master painter and decorator. There is nothing this lady does not know about paint. So I'm expecting we're going to be so busy. And we've had a crazy half an hour because Helen's sound wasn't working. My light is dreadful. So we've had all sorts of technical issues, but I am just so thrilled to have Helen here with me. I'm Anne Toohey. I'm an interior designer up in the northwest of Ireland, and I'm usually here on Facebook at 3 o'clock most days. So paint is a massive topic. Every time I do a Facebook Live, I get asked about paint or a paint question. So I know that Helen is going to be run off her feet. So I'm just going to see if I can, the comments are going to come up there. Helen Walsh, you're so welcome.
Hi, Anne. Thank you very much. And I'm so delighted to be joining you here today. Just a little bit of a background on myself. My name is Helen Walsh and I owned Helen Walsh Painting and Decorating. I'm in the business a little over 30 years now, which is quite a long time.
Started as a toddler girl.
Yeah, which was an unusual trade back in the day for a female.
Still is, Helen, a little bit. I like construction, that women in construction is growing, but not as fast as it should. So I'm curious, how did you get into this business?
Yeah, it was something I always had an interest in. And as I said, back in the day, it was the FOSS at the time. And you sent in 3 options of what you wanted to do. And to be honest with you, I was kind of more of a hands-on person than an academic person. So I sent in my 3 choices into FOSS. And the first was painting and decorating. I think the second was hairdressing. And I think my third one was a mechanic.
Okay, you probably would have been great at all of them, to be honest. You're that sort of person. But no, it's fantastic. I've only ever worked with one other female painter. She had come back from the States and she had worked as a painter over there, and she was fabulous, just like you are. So we've loads of questions, so I'm going to get stuck in.
Questions. I'm here to answer them.
Phil Hughes is saying hello to us. Mary White, Maureen McGarvey, Karen
hello to everybody.
Josephine, Noreen Leavis. Noreen has a question. So, if I can find Noreen's question. Noreen, do me a favor. Would you mind just popping your question into that comment box and we'll get back to it. Now, Jane Canning is not here yet, but Jane has lots of questions. So this is going to be quick fire. She wants to know best roller? No, best filler. I can't even read my own writing.
Oh, best filler. Okay. So firstly, Anne, I will just say, I tend to use all Colour Trend and Fleetwood products. They're my kind of go-to products. And to be honest,
they're Irish and they're fantastic products.
Exactly, and they're Irish owned, and I'm very familiar with their products.
Same as that.
Every paint company has their own range of primers, fillers, and whatever. Yes. But I'm going to be talking what I'm familiar with today. So I'm familiar with Colour Trend and Fleetwood.
Well, listen,
so best roller that you can use. Okay, so we have 3 different types of paint as well. So you have a matte emulsion, which is a matte. We have a washable matte as well. We have a soft sheen, which you would use a different roller sleeve for a different pile. And then you have sealing, what you're going to use on the sealing, which is a matte as well. So for the best roller to use, depending on the paint, I just have samples here with me. And this one here, they're both 9-inch roller sleeves. Yeah. And they slide onto a frame. So this one here is a medium pile sleeve, and I would use a medial pile sleeve if I was using matte emulsion. And I would use a short pile sleeve if I was using soft sheen. And then you won't get that big nap.
Absolutely, which is
on the wall. So soft sheen, short pile, and matte emulsion, a medium pile.
Brilliant. Jane is
just a little tip. When you take them out of the packet, I would always rinse them, or either that, just wrap a bit of masking tape around the whole thing and pull it off, and that gets rid of any loose fibers.
Okay, that's a handy tip. Brilliant. Yeah. Jane, these are Jane's questions. So Jane has just come in. Best brushes, Helen.
Okay, so again, I have little samples here. There's no point in talking about them. It's much easier to show you.
Yeah.
And these are my go-to brushes all the time as well. They're good quality, affordable synthetic brush and easy to wash out as well. So
you have a name on them?
Fleetwood Pro D.
Okay.
Fleetwood Pro D. So they're a synthetic brush, very good quality. So for smaller jobs, obviously you would use the inch brush.
Yeah.
And then for cutting, for ceilings and walls, a 2.5-inch brush.
Okay.
All Fleetwood Pro D brushes, very good quality brush for small, affordable.
Okay, and Irish.
And Irish again, and just a little tip again, they're in a little sleeve with a Velcro, with a Velcro sleeve on them. Very easy to wash out. And once you've washed them out, you can either hang them with a little hole in them, dry them flat, and then put them back in their little sleeve when they're dry. So that stores them properly for you.
That is brilliant. Next question from Jane is, what type of brush to cut in a ceiling?
Yes, this one here, your 2.5-inch.
Okay. Is it angled or straight?
Well, this one is not, but you can get an angled as well.
Okay.
They come in angled brushes as well. So this is just straight, but a very good cutting in brush.
Okay.
And what cutting in is cutting in up to your white ceiling, your corners, the tops of your skirting boards, anywhere where the roller doesn't go in. When we say cut in, that's what we mean, cutting in with the brush.
Hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to do. Okay, what else? She's saying uses for caulk.
Caulk, okay. So the uses for caulk, so between the door frame and the wall, and between the skirting board and the wall, there's always this little gap.
Yes.
So if you're painting, you would use caulk. I have one here again, a Fleetwood caulk filler. So you would put this into a mastic gun or a silicone gun. You might all be familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just cut the top off in here, cut your nozzle at an angle, put it into your gun and run the caulk along the gap in the door frame, the edge of the door frame or the top of the skirting board. But make sure if you're using caulk that you rub it down with your finger. A little pot of water is very handy when you're using caulk. A small, rub your finger in and rub the caulk smooth. Don't leave the caulk in a heavy bead or you will never get it out of, you'll never get it out of it again. You need to smooth down the caulk, leave it dry and then paint over, and that's your gap.
Okay, excellent. What else? She says, water-based or oil-based for doors?
Okay, so I'm a fan of water-based.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm a real fan of water-based. Look, we all used oil-based over the years, but to be honest, oil-based paint is being phased out.
Yellows as well.
And yellows, exactly.
Why did you specify a water-based paint for this door? And I said, because it will yellow if we don't. And he said, oh gosh, that must be what happened mine, because they're now all yellow. Yeah.
Yes, but also it's environmental friendly.
Yes.
It's low odor, it's quick drying. You don't have to be trying to dispose of white spirits if you're washing out oil brushes. You can rinse your brush out in warm soapy water. So it has lots of benefits. And
it's toxic as well. It's ticks every box. Yes.
Yes, it ticks every box, yeah.
Okay, Jane, correct me if I'm right, but I think that was all Jane's questions. Now, we've got questions coming in here, so I better go back. Now, one thing I do remember, Bridge Gillespie, I'm not sure if she's here or not, she wants to paint pine in her house. I think it's pine doors, pine presses. So what primer do you use and what paint do you like to use?
Okay, so what I would suggest first, before you do anything, is to make sure that the surface is clean.
Yes.
Kitchens, you'll have grease, and if you have stoves, open fires, you're going to have smoke. So I would suggest that you wash everything first. Here's one that I have here, and that's sugar soap. So that's very good for removing, your usual...
There's nothing like it. It's an old-fashioned...
Nothing like it. And I have another one here, which is Crud Cutter, an exceptional cleaner as well. And I would highly recommend this if you have a lot of smoke or a lot of grease in the kitchen.
I don't know that. Now here, can I ask a different question? One of the first questions that came in, this girl says she has a stove. It seems like a solid fuel Stanley, and her ceiling gets quite dusty. She said, what paint should I use on that? Okay,
I think she mentioned, should she use a washable paint?
Yes.
Okay, she obviously has a matte emulsion on it already. Yeah, it's previously painted. Well, yes, of course, you can use a soft sheen on it, which is washable. But the only thing about putting a soft sheen on a ceiling, if there's imperfections,
absolutely,
it will show up the imperfections. So what I would recommend here is maybe use a washable matte.
Okay. What about something like the diamond color trend, the really heavy duty one? It's more expensive, but
well, that's the ceramic. the ceramic.
Yes, it is.
Ceramic,
You're right.
absolutely excellent paint, scrubbable. Yeah, excellent paint. That's Colour Trends ceramic mat. But any of the washable mats would be fine, to be honest with you, on the ceiling. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan.
I stopped you there, but I just remembered her question.
I'm not a fan myself of soft sheen on a ceiling.
I detest soft sheen. I absolutely detest it.
It just shows up all the imperfections.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And I mean, the mats are so flat, and they're just stunning. And I mean, Colour Trend and Fleetwood are using amazing technology to improve their product. So it's this gorgeous, clean, flat matte paint, which is perfection. It is.
Yeah. No, lovely, and lovely colours too. But going back to your first original question, and okay, so that's the first thing you need to do anyway, is ensure that your woodwork or your surface. When I say surface, the surface could be a ceiling, surface can be walls. So every time I mention a surface, it's actually the surface that you're going to paint. So obviously there's different primers for different surfaces. So for pine then, or red deal, we're talking knots. So you have knots in the timber, and the knots can be quite, you have to seal knots. If you don't seal them, they're going to shine back out through. If anybody has painted their woodwork at home themselves, or got somebody to paint their woodwork without using the proper primer, I can guarantee you'll see all these little shape of the knots coming out through the white or through the paintwork. That looks like a brownish, it's a stain basically. So the knot is bleeding out through. So if you're painting your pine or any woodwork with knots in it, you need to use a shellac based, and this will keep back any knots. So this can be used as a primer and undercoat. So what I would suggest first is wash your woodwork down, give it a light sand to create a key between the primer and the surface. So you can either use these double-sided flexible pads. They're quite reasonable to buy, and we have a little block here, double-sided as well.
And they're handy for girls' hands as well.
Exactly. And they're brilliant for, molds. They'll mold into the area. So really, really good. So give a light sand just to create a key. And you don't have to take all the varnish off, because this is what these products are designed to do, to stick to the surface. So you're just creating a light key. And this one here is by Fleetwood, and it's Terminator, and it's shellac based. So anything kind of with varnish or knots, you need to use this. That's a Fleetwood product. And we have this one here. Some of you might be familiar, and it's very handy. It comes in an aerosol can.
It's a lot, yes.
The bin. So the bin and the Terminator, they're the equivalent of one another. But just the aerosol can is really handy if you're doing a small little project or anything.
Piece of furniture or something. It is handy.
And give it a little spray. But just make sure always that you wear a mask, protect your eyes, wear disposable gloves, protect yourself. Especially when you're sanding, anything to do with decorating, to be honest, you're better off wearing a mask. But the bin sealer, just make sure if you're using bin sealer that you give it a good shape, because as you can hear, nothing here, but there's a ball bearing in the end of that, and you need to hear that ball bearing moving for it to spray properly. Because
light coats, Helen?
Light coats. Build it up in light coats. And if you're using this, if you're painting your pine woodwork, which everybody is doing at the moment, your staircase, your doors, your frames, just when you're using this, the fact that it's shellac based, you will need methylated spirits for thinning it. Because it's shellac based. So if you're using this, get a small bottle of methylated spirits, and it's handy to have to leave your brush down in it while you're not using it. And give your surface 2 coats of shellac primer.
Gosh, this is fantastic. Maura Mackey is here. Do you know Maura Mackey? Maura's an interior designer down in Cork.
No.
Shirley's here. Girls, I won't even have time to say hello to you all individually, because I know there are questions here. Phil Hughes, I know the answer to this. How best to cover a leak stain on my ceiling, please? Take back that bin primer.
So a leak. Just ensure that the leak is dry, because you have no use treating a stain unless it's actually dry.
And make sure you know where the leak came from as well, so that you don't have a stain.
I find this one very good for leaks. This one is very good, and that's cover stain.
I've used that, and it
very
does.
good. And
even mold
in Fleetwood, which is blocks it, and these are both these are both white spirit based.
Okay.
So basically, it's only the primers that we tend to use that are not water based. Now we have water based ones as well, but again for different surfaces.
Yes. Yes.
So for stains, you can use Bloxit, Fleetwood,
Okay.
or again the cover stain in the aerosol can.
Which is so much easier to use, isn't it? If it was just a stain on your ceiling, that the aerosol would be so much easier.
Protect everything underneath you, because you'd be surprised how far the spray goes.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
just be very careful. Sometimes it might be just easier to put a little inch brush into your pan. Yeah.
Okay.
And these are very good because they come in all different sizes. This one here, I think it's a 750 milliliter. No, it's 500.
Okay.
And they come in 1 liter, they come in 2.5, and they come in 5. So depends on.
And I presume once the stain is covered and it's dried, you just paint the ceiling as normal after that.
Absolutely, yes. And I like to just give those. The beauty of all of these products, Anne, is that they take no length to dry. So probably about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on drying.
It's so fast drying. Yeah.
If it was a stain, I like to give it 2 coats and always go a few inches outside the stain as well.
Yes, yes.
So it's
that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Nulla Larkin is saying, hi Anne and Helen, want to paint my bathroom wall tiles cream. Is there a special paint primer, and do they come in different colors, or do I have to color match? Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, this is here. This is
don't believe you. You've got paint, tile paint as well.
I do.
Brilliant.
I better say thank you, Anne, to Paddy Breen in Breen's Hardware in New Ross, who donated all these products to show you all here today. So a very big shout out to Paddy Breen's Hardware in New Ross.
That's Paddy Breen's Hardware. So all you girls down in the sunny southeast, will you please take a trip down to Paddy Breen for all your Irish paints? Okay, fantastic.
Hardware in New Ross. Yeah, thanks to him for supplying me with all these products today. But this is Fleetwood's Pure Grip, and this is designed to stick to your tiles. Again, your tiles just need to be spotless clean before you start, and you can get this tinted into any light colours because it's a white base. So if you any light colours, off creams, light colours, you can get this tinted, and then you can come along with your Fleetwood Advanced Satin, and that's your top coat. And you can get that tinted into whatever colour you want as well.
So tell me this, I have used a Ronseal one in the past, and I've really only used it in white because the tile and the grout then, it was a very easy way of doing it. But this opens up your options, because it means then if you want to have a pale grey or cream or an ivory, you can do that. Yes, you can have any of them. And these are a fantastic little roller sleeve that I have here. Two Fussy Blokes is the name. I've heard of them. I've never used them. I've heard of them. Everybody swears by them. Yes. Yes, they are absolutely fantastic. So I'll just take out one here, and I have my handles here. I have, if you can see these handles, if you can see them. Yeah. Okay. So I have a short one here. Okay. And that will just slip on to the handle. Yeah. And the long one is for going down behind radiators. Yes. So this just slides on to the handle, and I have my little tray here. So invest in one of these for yourself. A little fussy bloke, and these can be bought singly. We can all do with a little fussy bloke, couldn't we, girls? Yeah, a little fussy bloke, but absolutely excellent little roller sleeve. Okay. Yes, and going back to the lady that asked about painting her pine doors. Yes, that was Breed Gillespie. Yes, so tell Breed to invest in a little fussy bloke. Get one for doing your primer, and get one for doing your finish, your water-based finish. Okay. Yeah, and to be honest, you know, if you're using them in these primers, and if they're not water-based primers, you probably don't even try and wash them out. Yeah, because they're cheap. I don't. That's right. So you know, you'll waste more money trying to wash them out, and then frustration as well, and a mess. Yeah, no, exactly. So for your primers, do all your priming, and dispose of your roller, and then have your fresh new one for your top coat for your water-based satin, and you won't go wrong. Brilliant. Nolik, I hope that answers your question. That's great. We'll have to see photographs when it's done. Mary White is saying, what colour to paint a downstairs toilet that has no window? Well, gosh, I'm going to leave it to Helen, but you could go dark and go bold, or you can go bright. It's totally up to you. Just pick the
Absolutely.
colour that's fabulous that you love.
Up to you. Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh, I've done something.
I like little toilets done kind of quirky, to be honest with you, with little dark colours or a wallpaper in there as well, a little statement.
I would, and you know, Mary's an artist.
Yeah.
Or you know something, Mary, why don't you pick a base color, and you've got all this fabulous art, and maybe make it like an art gallery, because small spaces do need to be dramatic. So you're right, bold colors, or some fabulous wallpaper. I think we all need a little fabulous wallpaper. Okay. Noreen has asked this question, and I might need to put my glasses on to see it, because it's very bright. She said, "Hello, Anne. I'm a newcomer and I love your videos. Thank you. I have a question for Helen Walsh. I hope to decorate my living room, which is a bit dated. It was okay in the day. I have solid oak flooring and the couches are chocolate brown leather, which I have to keep. Furniture and fireplace is mahogany, but we'll be willing to paint it. I'm looking for a colour that would match in with the above. I have 2 glass doors, 2 windows in the room. I look forward to your reply. Thank you, Doreen." Okay.
Hi, Doreen. How are you? Okay, Doreen, the fact that you have a brown...
Sorry, it's Noreen. That's my Donegal accent. It's Noreen.
Oh, sorry, Noreen. Noreen. Well, to be honest with you, you're not tied, Noreen. You can go really with any creams, beiges. I like these colours here. If you can,
is that the colour trend chart?
That's the colour trend chart.
I have this. I can't believe it. I have the same one.
I like this palette here. I've actually
the one that starts at Batch Loaf.
Batch Loaf is behind me on the walls here.
But these are the colours that I'm looking at now, and their colours are just gorgeous, and particularly those lighter ones. And there's Batch Loaf behind you. See, she paints that room just for you to see it.
Yes.
But they are wonderful.
Bottom one here, Reinvent. If you can see there, the bottom one, Reinvent, and this one here. And I've done the top units then in Watch House. So it's, you know, they're lovely.
They are stunning colours.
Yeah, and a little element of grey in them, but more onto the kind of brown tone.
Yes, it is a greyish, and greyish are handy, because particularly if you've got north-facing rooms and darker rooms and you don't have a lot of sunshine. But knowing that's what we're looking at, it's a colour trend, the new collection. It's called Contemporary. They are beautiful colours. The greys in there are gorgeous as well. They're absolutely stunning.
Absolutely, but Batch Loaf is a lovely colour.
It is.
So yes, something like that.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and I think that's exactly what you should go for, knowing you. And for your fireplace, you could even do what Helen did with her kitchen and go with a deeper color on the fireplace.
Oh, absolutely, that Reinvent or you know, covert feather.
Yes, which is a little bit lighter. Yeah,
absolutely.
And then all you do is, you know, invest in a new rug and some brightly coloured cushions, and just put it all together with your accessories, and you'll have a lovely, warm, rich, reinvigorated room. Katrina Burrows is saying hello to me. Hello, Katrina. Lulu Walsh is here. Breda Walsh. These are not. Is that Breda your sister? No.
Oh, no? Breda.
Yeah, Breda's here, and Lulu.
Oh, they're my 2 sisters.
Well, hello, girls. Listen, we're never going to let this girl go. She's just so amazing, so amazing. I mean, last week I had Claire Ronan on the very first live collaboration interview, call it what you want. Over 10,000 people watched that. I haven't even looked today. It could be a lot more now. It's crazy. But people were saying you should do the Claire and Anne show. I'm beginning to think we should do the Helen and Anne show.
It's on Shane in Australia. It's you know, I think it's during the night.
Richard, he's in Australia as well. And you know something, Helen, I saw something today on Twitter. I think it was an article, and it was an Irish girl who works in a university in Perth, and she said, "I'm finding it really tough at the minute. God, I could cry seeing this, because I used to only be 24 hours away, and that's not the reality anymore." So big hugs and waves. They're safe, they're well, and that's what we have to focus on. Carmel Brindle is saying, "We have a range cooker, and to take out ashes every day, God, I can remember doing that in Carrick every single day for a lifetime. Can you buy washable ceiling paints?" Carmel, we were talking about this earlier.
Yes. As I said, yes, you can put soft sheen on it. We had this conversation.
Don't do that.
But don't do that, exactly. So your best bet is to buy a washable mat or Colour Trend ceramic, which is scrubbable. And
it works. It really works. Greta is saying, sorry, I've moved too fast there. Oh, gee, there's loads of people here. Oh my goodness, we won't be finished at 3:30, girls. Oh dear God. Sorry. Okay, Greta, I have white gloss, architraves and skirting. Do I have to use gloss again, or can I change to another paint type? That's a really good question. Most people would think they have to, but the answer is?
Yes. In the majority of houses, everybody would have old oil-based gloss on the woodwork. But this is the beauty of, again, the Pure Grip by Fleetwood. Water-based, so you wash out your brushes in water. If you need to thin it a little bit, you add a little bit of water. So all you need to do is make sure your woodwork is clean. We talked about that. Make sure it's
again, yes.
Leave it dry, a little sand, and then brush or roll on, depending on the surface. Fleetwood's Pure Grip, and you just leave it for an hour, and it's dry, and you can come along with your white satin and paint over.
Brilliant. I'm sure you're delighted to hear that, Greta, because
talking about primers here, I have another one here, and this is Colour Trends. Now, Colour Trends have all different primers as well. I'm talking about, they all have their own primer. So, once you go in to find out about a primer in any of the paint shops, they would put you on the right road. But this is just an excellent primer as well, Prime 2. And I've been asked many a time, and we spray a lot of kitchen units that are 20 and 30 years old. And I've been asked on many occasions, and people don't realize that you can actually paint, the laminate.
Yes, I've done it, yeah.
The vinyl wrap kitchens, the PVC coated kitchens. Well, this will stick to PVC coated or vinyl wraps. Absolutely excellent product. Colour Trends Prime 2. A water-based.
They seem to have invested quite a lot of money and resources and technology into these different primers. Fascinated. It's relatively new, but it's great. Technology is improving everything for us.
And these are all tried and tested. Like, we use these products every day of the week. Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Katrina Burrows is saying, Helen, can you please recommend a paint for covering wallpaper?
Oh.
I presume she means an anaglypta type paper or something like that, because you can paint over those.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Would you just use a regular matte plate?
Matte mulch. Yeah.
Very good question from Maura Mackey. I'll ask it back to you. What paint do you use, Maura? She wants to know, what paint do you love to use, Helen?
I love to use Fleetwood and Colour Trends. Yes. We tend to use a lot of Colour Trends matte or the ceramic matte. Yeah. And
I've been using Colour Trend paint for the last 30 years. I actually know the family who own Colour Trend, the O'Connor family. Kevin runs a company now, but their dad was so passionate. Ronan was passionate about paint when nobody knew anything about paint, and they're absolutely Irish, and it is a premium product. But Fleetwood paint is excellent paint as well. Excellent.
Two really good products.
And the colours are gorgeous. The new Fleetwood colours are absolutely stunning as well.
What I love about the Fleetwood chart, and I love about the Colour Trend chart.
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
What I really like about them is when you look at the Fleetwood chart here, they're the actual paint chips. Yeah. So you're not looking at a shiny surface, you're actually looking at the paint chips.
That's right.
And Colour Trend the same. So that's what I really like about them.
Do you know what I love, Helen? I don't know that I have it here, is the new Vogue range from Fleetwood. Their sort of premier range, their designer range, beautiful colours. Prestige. What do I call it? Yeah, you're right. Prestige, beautiful. But you know what I've realised? Well, certainly in the Northwest, not every Fleetwood shop or Fleetwood supplier stocks that range.
Yeah.
But they're gorgeous colours, gorgeous. Mary Meehan is saying, hi ladies. Quick question, what paint colour for a north-facing sitting room for walls? Redoing the full sitting room, curtains and wallpaper, etc., and a bedroom, please. Well, do you know something? I would say before you even think about your paint, Mary Meehan, you should be picking your fabric to have something to start with.
And you'll pick your colour from your wall.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've told the girls so often, it's a bit like, if you've got a fabric and there's going to be a base colour in that, you can absolutely colour match that to a paint, from whatever range. So start with your fabrics and then get a lovely, and if it's north facing, and you fancy going grey, please be careful. Don't go with the blue and the green greys because they're cold. You need to have a soft, warm color. And those colors that we talked about earlier, the color trend color is the one that you have behind you, Helen, that bachelor. Those colors will be beautiful in a north-facing room to warm it up, but pick your fabric first. Jane Canning says, yes, that's it. Thanks for all that information, Helen. You have an encyclopedic knowledge and amazing delivery. Katrina Mulhern, listen, late in, hi Anne, up at Mum's Wi-Fi, awful. Helen, you would love Katrina. She works in Foy and Company here in Letterkenny. She's a paint guru and she's just amazing as well. Fountain of knowledge. Maria Del Mar is here as well. She says, hi Anne. Maria was in yesterday. She's over in the UK, and I've done something silly again. We were talking about silk flowers yesterday. Trish Collins is saying, great hints and tips here. Thank you, ladies. This is great. Mara Mackey says, hair looks fab, Anne. Tell you something that I shouldn't be telling you. I actually put a box dye in my hair on Sunday.
Your hair beautiful.
When I washed it this morning, it didn't cover the grey at all, and I can't get the blue spray that I use. I can't get it anywhere in the colour that I want. Maria says, how do you cover plaster that is popped? Here's a good question. Okay. How do you cover plaster that is popped where the screw enters the plaster board behind? Hope this makes sense. It does, of course.
Yeah. So what's happened there is yes, where they've screwed in the plaster board. Sometimes that might just need a little tap of a hammer. So with a flathead screwdriver, just tap in the slab screw. And then somebody actually asked me about filler there. I find Toupray filler is really good, Toupray, but you won't get it everywhere.
Okay. So how do you spell that?
Toupray, Toupret.
Okay.
Toupray filler.
Toupray.
But again, you won't get that everywhere, Anne. Okay. So Polycell polyfiller is
around a long time. Yeah.
I have to say, I'm not a fan of the ready mixed. I like to mix my own. So powder, the very same as you're mixing flour to make bread.
Yes.
I prefer to mix my own filler. And if you have an old tile, an old smooth tile, or something smooth, mix your own filler, the amount that you require with a drop of water in the middle, a little, put out your filler and a little funnel in the middle and add your water and mix it in. But just make sure, again, I'm going to show you something I have here.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah. So make sure if you're, using filler, that you buy yourself a flexible filling knife. So it needs to be flexible.
Very handy thing to have anyway. Yeah.
Don't open the cans with the corner of it because you will destroy the edges of the filler knife and then you'll have scrapes all over your wall. So keep your filler knife for filling only. So nice and flexible so that you're able to put, and I'm a firm believer in, if you're filling something, fill it, leave it dry, and then go back and fill or skim over it again.
It does go down a bit, doesn't it?
It sinks. And then have a little block which is flat, so you're not sinking in with the seam. So a little block, rub it over it, and that'll sand it right down smooth for you.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. We're talking about knives there. This is a scraper, so you can see this is a solid blade that doesn't bend. So you need this for scraping your walls. Just to get any little bits, old bits that are on the walls. But again, only use a scraper for scraping your walls. Do not use the edges for opening the cans.
My hands have been fairly wrapped there. Okay. Joanne is saying, hi ladies, just signed in. And you may have asked my question already about colour of paint for my living room. I have grey sofas and neutral curtains. Thank you so much. I didn't actually. Actually, I wonder if I got that in the Fleetwood. You don't have the Fleetwood chart there?
I do.
So a nice soft warm grey. There's plenty of them. I might have it too.
There's a lovely light French grey there.
Oh, that looks gorgeous. Actually, it does. Yes, it does. I might not have my Fleetwood chart here. I have a funny feeling I gave it to somebody. But look, I'll work from yours.
Yeah, there's some lovely colours there.
Oh, they're gorgeous, actually, particularly the ones that they're in the middle, the lighter ones beside the deeper greys. They are beautiful, beautiful. And
again,
they're colours.
I'm very fond of Colour Trends Oyster Bed as well.
That's a very handy colour. I have that here.
It kind of goes with everything, to be honest with you.
There it is there.
Yeah.
I know my light is so bad, it's so bright here, but
So
it is, but that's it there, it's gorgeous. And that subtle is a lovely colour too, the colour tells subtle.
Lovely as well, really nice. That's a very popular one on the kitchen units now, subtle.
Okay, I can see why, it's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
So any of those soft colours, Joanne, or I can send you a link in a minute, sorry. But I think with the grey sofas and the neutral curtains, and then you can take in your pop of colour in your accents and you're away with it. Mary Barkley sends some great tips. Attracta is saying, hi Anne, I have doors in kitchen I'm doing up and will be painting mahogany doors whitish, but the dog has scraped, sorry, it's so bright, I can't see this. So she's painting mahogany doors whitish, but the dog has scraped doors some. What would you suggest? The dog has scraped, I presume the dog has scraped the mahogany doors.
Yes,
so
probably
she's painting.
Obviously, they're varnished at the moment.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So the fact that there's no knots, knots in mahogany. Again, just make sure it's clean, and you can use Fleetwood's blocks it. So roll on your coat. Obviously, you brush in the areas that the roller doesn't go into. Around the panels, and then you can use Fleetwood blocks it. That will stop any tannings from coming through. So put on a coat of primer first. Then I would recommend getting your filler and your filling knife and mixing it up and filling the door and maybe giving it 2 fills and then sand it. Okay. So that's smoothing down the area.
Brilliant. And should that when it's painted over, it'll be perfect.
If the dog is still scraping the door, or maybe put a little metal plate, the same as you would go, the metal plates that you can get, if you're pushing it. Yes. So maybe put one of those down at the bottom if the dog is still scraping the door.
Okay. Yeah. Great advice. Phil is saying this is back to the leak in the ceiling. She's still trying to locate the leak. But thank you, Muff. Well, when you find it, but don't do anything. You need to find that leak because
you need to find the leak and make sure that the area is dry, because there's no point in trying to block a wet leak. It won't.
No, absolutely not. Maria has another question. How best to redecorate? Oh no, that we've answered that. That's the one about the screw and the plaster. Maureen Prendergast saying Paddy Green Hardware, New York. Did I say New Ross? You'll soon be in New York because so many people are going to like the page and all of that. And Olga saying thanks, and Mary saying thanks. Shirley Kennefic is saying, I've lost it again. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Hi Helen, for painting the fireplace, could you use those rollers or a brush better? Yeah.
The roller's fine.
I've used a roller for painting the fireplace, yeah, and it wasn't the.
You have to just cut in the smaller areas. So just get yourself just an inch Pro D, and have this for cutting into the smaller areas, and then just use your roller. It'll give you a much better finish. Yeah. And with a slight little sand in between coats, you needn't go mad. Just a slight little sand, and that'll take any roughness off it for you. So you'll end up with a really smooth surface, and that's what you want.
Okay, of course. I'm a lazy painter.
By using the little fussy bloke, the fussy bloke, you're eliminating all brush marks as well. And it'll give you a really nice finish. You'll be amazed at the finish.
I must get some of those. But I find even for painting small pieces of furniture or kitchen units, I do use a roller as much as I can, and then just use a brush, as you say, for cutting in. God, the whole world is going to be painting frenzy from today on. Kavina's here. Mary Doyle Whitty is saying, hi, Helen Walsh. I think she must know you.
Who is it as?
Mary Doyle Whitty.
Oh, yes, I know Mary is.
Hi, Mary. Sullivan Kerwin is here saying, well done, ladies. Yes. Susie Hickman, would painting bathroom tiles turn out well using the products you mentioned? Okay, we talked about painting wall tiles. Helen, have you ever painted floor tiles?
No. I haven't.
That's something that makes me nervous. I know there are products and I've heard about them, but I just don't know. I have a funny feeling that it might be very hard to find a product that's going to adhere and it's not going to scratch and mark.
The thing about when you're painting anything, with any of these primers or putting
on another word, isn't it?
or putting on top coats, they need time to cure. So any paint that you're putting on will take up to 30 days to cure. So you need to tread lightly with all of these, you know, for the first month or that, and then they will harden rock solid.
That's good advice for the floor. I'm not convinced of painting the floor.
Out the floor.
I mean, one way that you can cover your floor is to get a good quality laminate and put it over your existing tiles, and that's an easy way of getting around. Maria is saying, we had our 3-meter high dark grey Hun metal radiators, which we sprayed at Car Repair Spray Company, and they look amazing. However, we've had another, but don't want to go through the expense of doing it again. So what can you recommend? Is there a spray or something that you can use on our metal radiators?
Yes, there is. You can actually get maybe a few cans of the colour in your auto factors and just spray the colour.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
That's an absolutely brilliant idea. Do you know, years and years ago, Helen, when I would paint the kitchen in the old house in Dublin, I actually got my paint in an auto shop. They made it up for me. I think it was Aska Nobel, or that company that owns Crown, and because you couldn't really get a lot of variety in different paints then for painting kitchen units. Patricia Moran is saying, hi ladies, and Patricia's over in sunny Killybegs, and it's the same Patricia. Enjoying listening. What do you recommend for cracks in walls?
Okay, for hairline cracks in walls. Okay, again, just use, you need to scrape out the crack, scrape it out into a little V, and scrape it out with the edge of a blade, just to give you that little V. So you're making it a little bit deeper for the filler to grab into. And again, either use the mixed filler, which I prefer, mix up your own filler and press it in to the cracks, leave it dry, second fill, and then sand it flat again with so polyfiller is probably the most the handiest one that you will get if they don't have the tube-spray.
It's funny, people are afraid of cracks, I think, but you made it.
You always have a certain amount of cracks. You'll always have movement.
Absolutely. I can remember our old house, which we built. It was on the site was full of rock. We didn't have one crack, but we had a rock breaker for a very long time. Rita Dermody saying, if repainting a front door on the outside that has been painted badly by a professional painter, oh golly, hate that. I'll be chipping a month after painting. Do I sand it slightly before starting? I'm using the same colors that are on. He used his own primer and didn't use a Fleetwood one. I got specifically tinted in the finished color. I wasn't at home when he was working, so it was too late to change. He had come back and put further finish coats on, but still not good finish. Was very disappointed.
Okay. Now, she didn't say what her front door is made from, but I presume it's timber.
I would imagine so, yes.
Timber. So what I would suggest is sand down your door, even if electric sander would be ideal. But if you don't have an electric sander, you can. The
hire shops would actually sand you out a hand sander, I'm sure.
Yeah, they would. They would. Yeah,
it makes it so much easier.
Or what you can do either, if you want to do it yourself, is you can water sand it. So you can actually buy sandpaper that can be used wet or dry. Yes. So once it's wet in a bucket of water, submerged into a bucket of water, that will actually cut down runs and sags or unevenness on the door. And then come along then with your primer. So this can be used outside, blocks it or cover stain, either one. As I said, they're both the same product with a different company. So these can be used outside. So I would put 2 coats of this onto your front door and then 2 coats of your top coat.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah. So cover stain or blocks that can be used outside, whereas bin or Terminator are only really designed for inside. So you can spot prime, but the cover stain would be better.
Okay, brilliant. Attracta, thank you for sorting out the problem with the dog scraping the door. Paula O'Loughlin, celebrant, I think she must know you. Hello, Helen, lovely to see you.
Hello, Paula.
Mary Meehan saying, thanks. Great listening to all the other questions as well. Eileen over in Galway says, hi ladies, I need to paint my final units, but don't want the task myself. Okay. to be honest, in an ideal world, I think I would always leave that job to the professional, because obviously it's going to be a much better job. You know, and I think that's probably what you should do. You'd agree, Helen, because your prep is meticulous, and that's why your finish is meticulous.
Well, that's it. Yeah. And, you know, the majority of people now, look, hand painting is lovely. Kitchen units, they're lovely hand painted again, but we spray them as well. We spray kitchen units and we hand paint. Whatever the customer wants, we will do it. But yes, if you're nervous, I think you're better off to go with.
Definitely.
And I mean, Galway.
Yes.
That lady's from Galway.
Yes.
Yeah. I would.
I would too, definitely. Phil Hughes is saying,
I can recommend somebody to spray her units in Galway.
You know what, Helen, I'll put your details here. So if anybody does want to get in touch with you, or if they're down your neck of the woods, if you don't mind, that'd be brilliant. Liz Malone is saying, hi ladies, Helen is absolutely brilliant at her job. She is.
Thank you.
Top of her game. And just an all-round lady. Maria Del Mar Cox is marvelous. Thank you. Ellen saying, great advice. They're all loving this.
Brilliant.
Hang on, sorry, I'm a bit too fast with my fingers sometimes. Phil Hughes, could I spray my cast iron garden seats? They're a bit shabby at the moment.
Absolutely, yes.
In fact, I'm going to tell you something, girls. If you've got cast iron garden seats, do spray them, because I heard yesterday, confidentially, that garden furniture is going to be very hard to source and very expensive this summer because of lack of supply. So definitely, is there anything that you recommend, Helen? What would you use for spraying? Obviously, it has to be waterproof.
Well, you just, again, if you go into your local hardware, they'll recommend us various different brands, and all for metal and iron, you know, so they'll recommend, but it is so handy to spray them, and they do come up like new.
And they do, of course they do. I've often done it, do it outside, and don't do it in a windy day.
A few tins of spray and you're there, maybe 2 tins, and you haven't sprayed.
And rattan chairs as well, I've often sprayed in the garden.
Sorry, Anne, if there's rust on them, you can get a rust primer in an aerosol can as well. So it makes life easier. But again, just make sure and cover everything, and wear gloves, masks, and, you know, protect your eyes from that.
And not a windy day, because the paint tends to go everywhere. Joanne Dunn is saying, thank you very much. Kavina says, learning so much. Thank you, Helen. Lorraine Walsh, really enjoying listening. Brilliant advice, ladies. Patricia Moran says, thanks for the help. Is that the end of our questions? It might be. You can be sure I've missed somebody. Okay. Helen, I'm going to ask you, I'll ask you a question now, if I may. What is your opinion on painting doors and skirting an architrave the same colour as your walls?
Okay, it's not something we would do very, very often. We generally tend to do the whites and the off-whites because it's more of a pop, to be honest with you. The only time I really would paint the walls, the skirt, not the only time, but if there's maybe paneling on the walls coming down.
Yes, that's why I asked you.
Sticking out in the one colour,
That's the only time I do it. The only time I do it, because then the wall, it's all timber, and the wall all blends in, and it's perfect. Otherwise, you're white.
If you have kind of really low ceilings, it gives the illusion that the room is higher as well. So it all depends. But I do love the whites or the off-whites, because I think every colour pops.
But I have this theory. I think that's why the paint companies, they don't have their paints on a cream background. They have them on a white background, so the contrast is perfect and the colour is accurate. Eileen over in Galway is saying, thank you so much. Ailish Duffy, what would you recommend to do with a solid oak table and chairs? I don't want to change the colour. But she wants to keep the timber, but she wants to change the colour of the timber. Is there any stained varnish type thing that gives a good result, an authentic result?
This is a question I would get asked an awful lot. And this would go for her table and chairs as well. Okay, yes, you can paint them a solid colour, any colour you like. But once...
And she doesn't want to do that.
She doesn't want to do that.
Oh, hang on, I read that wrong. What would you recommend to do with a solid oak table and chairs? I don't want to change the colour. So she just wants to refinish it.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I read that wrong.
Yeah, well, they would have been sprayed originally in the factory with a lacquer.
Yep.
So all you can really do is sand them down, give them a light sand, and maybe roll on a coat of, you know, fresh varnish or lacquer onto them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is it's
You
going to
see,
be a
you
factory
can't
finish.
really stain anything. You can, but you can't, if you know what I'm saying. It just isn't right. I've been asked on many occasions, you know, we'll say, for instance, a pine handrail
Yeah,
on
and they
a
want to go
staircase.
dark.
Okay, so they want to go dark. Well, the fact is that this handrail is after being varnished already. Now, you can go down the road of stripping the varnish off, which is an awful job. And it
Is
could
it
take,
still Nitromorse or something that you use, or
well,
oh god,
yeah, nitromorse, but the same bite is not in nitromorse as was, you know, years ago or whatever. But it's an awful job to strip a handrail.
oh, it is dreadful. I
And
wouldn't do
I
it.
think to stain something dark, that you need fresh new timber unless you're going to strip it back.
I totally agree with you.
You can
Unreal,
find-
isn't our time, girls? Jeannie Mac, we're way over time. Helen, I hope you haven't something else planned. I'm going to
No,
bump
you're
through this.
fine, Anne. I'm actually enjoying it. You're fine.
Mary Meehan is saying, can you spray a curtain pole that are black? You can, but what about your rings? If there are rings on it, I think, do you know something?
Probably could buy new rings.
Do you know what? You probably could. In fact, I'd say many of the, sorry, I have a hair that is driving me crazy. A lot of the curtain shops would have rings because people are getting eyelet curtains and they're taking the rings off. But you know something? Power do very inexpensive chrome poles, so I would be inclined to have a look at those. Gosh, have we many questions here? Maureen McGarvey said, I have an outside wall that the paint bubbles and falls off. What could I use to stop this happening?
Okay.
Maureen asked me that
So you need
before.
to scrape it back. Don't do it now. Wait until spring comes. It's too cold now to do anything outside. But you need to scrape it back and put a stabilizing solution on it. You can buy that in a small quantity. So a stabilizing solution is a clear solution, and I would brush or roll maybe 2 coats of that on, and then put your exterior paint over. Again, Fleetwood, Dulux, Colour Trend, any of those are really good quality exterior paints.
Fantastic. Sharon Farley said, I was thinking of painting skirting boards and architraves a colour, but leaving the doors varnished. Is this a no-no?
No, that's good.
Of course you can do that. Yeah, absolutely.
That works. Yeah, works.
Carmel Brindle is saying, for an office bedroom that gets sun in the evening, what best colour to paint the wall? Have lilac on for years. Thanks for the ceiling paint question. If it's getting evening sun, it's west facing, so why not go grey, Carmel? Go a lovely soft grey, and that will work for the office as well. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I've just too trigger happy here with the. Okay, that's the last of our questions. Are you exhausted after that, Helen?
I really enjoyed it, Anne. I really enjoyed it, and I hope everybody watching enjoyed it too.
Oh, listen, they're going to love it, and this video is going to be watched a lot. We've had a lot of people on here live, but I find it's at nighttime that people start watching, and then over the weekend, loads of people start watching. You know, we can tell them now that we nearly had a disaster initially. My light was terrible, and Helen's sounded like something from Star Trek, a dialect. But we got it sorted. At 2 minutes to 3, we got it sorted. Helen, I cannot thank you enough for coming on today. The girls have got so much information. I mean, you could read this in a book, you could read it online, but it's when you hear it from an expert, it's so different.
Oh, thank you. Can I just say to everybody that's on, you know, if they want to just have a look in on my Facebook page, Helen Walsh Painting and Decorating, that I have loads of transformations before and after, and we do a transformation every Thursday now in lockdown. We put up pictures before and after, and on my Instagram as well. Helen
say that Instagram page as well. It's
fantastic.
fantastic.
You know, if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to send me a message and answer it.
Oh, no, that's so generous of you. It really is. And they're all enjoying that. So listen, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I've got another fabulous person. Ruth Scott is filling in for Elaine Crowley on the Elaine Show on Virgin Media One all week this week. And she is going to be leaving the Elaine Show, probably with her full makeup and hair on, to come here to be live tomorrow with me. So I'm really looking forward to that. She'll be talking about her favorite room in her house, and she's just a treasure, and she's an amazing interviewer. So I've been nervous interviewing her, but she's fantastic. Everybody's saying thank you. Helen Walsh, You're an amazing painter, but you're an amazing lady as well. And I thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Anne. And
So guys, over and out. As always, I say, try and do something nice for yourself this evening. Stay safe, stay fabulous, and I'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Thank you, Anne. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, and thank you so much, Helen.